Have you ever stopped to consider how the rising cost of food affects your monthly budget? It's a question that's becoming increasingly relevant. In recent years, we've seen a steady and substantial climb in the price of food worldwide. This trend, known as food inflation, is more than just a buzzword. It's a reality that's biting into our wallets, making it harder for many of us to afford the fresh produce we need for a healthy diet. The cost of fresh fruits and vegetables has seen a particularly sharp increase. These staples, once considered affordable for most households, have become luxury items for some. The price of a simple head of lettuce or a pound of tomatoes can now make you wince at the checkout counter. Food inflation is not just about numbers and percentages, it's about the strain it puts on households, the difficult choices it forces families to make, and the impact it has on our health and well-being. Every day, more people are finding themselves having to compromise on the quality and variety of their food. The fresh, nutritious produce they once enjoyed is being replaced by cheaper, less healthy alternatives. This in turn affects not just our physical health, but our mental well-being too. After all, food is more than just fuel. It's a source of comfort, a way of connecting with others, and a means of expressing our culture and identity. But here's the thing, there's a silver lining to this cloud. There's a way to fight back against food inflation, a way to reclaim control over what we eat, how much we spend, and how we nourish our bodies. And the best part, this solution doesn't require a revolution. It doesn't demand a radical change in our lifestyles. It starts with a simple step, a seed planted in the soil. But what if there was a way you could combat these rising costs right in your own backyard? It's not a hypothetical question, it's a real practical and achievable solution. And in the next few scenes, we're going to explore how you can make it happen. The solution might be simpler than you think, starting a home garden. Imagine a world where you can step out your back door and pick fresh, ripe vegetables for dinner. This isn't a far-off dream, it's the reality of home gardening. In an era where food prices are soaring, home gardening presents a sustainable and cost-effective solution that brings the farm to your table. Home gardens are more than just a hobby, they're a powerful tool against food inflation. By growing your own produce, you're not just saving money on groceries, you're also investing in your health. Homegrown vegetables are fresher, tastier, and more nutritious than their store-bought counterparts. Plus, you have the peace of mind of knowing exactly where your food comes from and how it's been grown. Think about it, no more worrying about the origin of your vegetables, the pesticides used, or the carbon footprint of transporting them from farm to supermarket. You're in control, and that's a powerful feeling. But the benefits of home gardening extend beyond your kitchen and your wallet. It's also good for the planet. Home gardens contribute to biodiversity, improve air quality, and reduce the amount of waste going to landfill. And let's not forget the therapeutic benefits of gardening. It's a proven stress reliever, offering a sense of accomplishment as you watch your plants grow from seeds to full-fledged vegetables. So what can you grow in a home garden? The answer is almost anything, from leafy greens like spinach and kale to staples like potatoes and carrots to juicy tomatoes and crunchy cucumbers. The possibilities are endless, and you can grow crops that suit your taste and dietary needs. In a nutshell, home gardening is a win-win situation. It's a practical approach to food security, a pathway to better health, and a step towards a more sustainable lifestyle. And the best part, it's accessible to everyone. Whether you have a sprawling backyard or a small balcony, there's a gardening solution that fits your space and your lifestyle. So how does one start a home garden? Let's delve into that. A successful garden begins with choosing the right location. Indeed, the location of your garden can make or break your gardening efforts. It's a crucial first step that should be approached with careful consideration. First and foremost, let's talk sunlight. Most vegetables crave a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. Your garden's location should ideally be a spot that's bathed in sunshine for the majority of the day. If you don't have such a place, don't fret. Some veggies, like leafy greens, can get by with less light. Now on to soil quality. This is where your plants will be getting their nutrients from, so it's vital that the soil is rich and fertile. You can enrich any soil type with organic matter like compost or aged manure. And remember, the soil should be well draining. No plant likes to have wet feet, as waterlogged soil can lead to root rot and other plant diseases. Accessibility is another key factor. Your garden should be easy to get to. Consider proximity to a water source, as lugging heavy watering cans across a large distance can be a real chore. Also, A spot that's within your line of sight from your house can be advantageous. It can serve as a visual reminder to tend to your veggies, and it can also help you spot any potential problems like pests more quickly. Think about the future growth of your plants too. Will towering sunflowers cast a shadow over your low-growing lettuce? Will sprawling pumpkin vines overrun your delicate herbs? It's essential to consider the mature size and growth habits of your plants when choosing your garden location. And finally, be flexible. If your first choice doesn't work out, don't be disheartened. Gardening is a journey of trial and error, learning and adapting. So experiment with different spots until you find the one that works best for you and your plants. Once you've chosen the right spot, it's time to plan your garden. By taking the time to choose the right location, you're setting the stage for a productive and rewarding gardening experience. Planning is key to a flourishing garden. Imagine yourself as an architect and your garden as the canvas, where you'll bring your masterpiece to life. The first step in planning your garden is choosing the right crops. This is where understanding the seasons comes into play. Spring is a time for growth and renewal. It's the perfect season for planting crops like lettuce, peas, and radishes. These are cool weather crops that thrive in the refreshing spring air. As the weather heats up, we transition into summer, a season that loves sun-loving crops. Think tomatoes, cucumbers, and bell peppers. These crops bask in the sunshine and give you a bountiful harvest. Autumn, with its mellow temperatures, is ideal for planting crops like carrots, beets, and broccoli, which are known for their resilience in cooler weather. And let's not forget winter. Yes, you can still garden in winter. Cold-hardy crops like kale and Brussels sprouts can withstand the chill and provide fresh produce even in the colder months. Understanding the growth cycle of your chosen crops is also essential. Some crops are fast growers, ready to harvest in a matter of weeks, while others take their sweet time, maturing over several months. This knowledge helps you plan your garden for continuous harvest, ensuring there's always something fresh and ready to pick. Now that you've chosen your crops, it's time to arrange them for optimal growth. Consider the size and spread of mature plants. Taller plants can provide shade for smaller sun-sensitive ones, and sprawling plants like cucumbers can be trained up trellises to save space. Remember, your garden is a living, breathing entity. It needs space to grow and thrive. Overcrowding can lead to competition for resources and increase the risk of disease, so give your plants the room they need to flourish. Lastly, consider companion planting. Some plants have a symbiotic relationship, helping each other grow better when planted together. For instance, planting basil near tomatoes can help deter pests and enhance the flavor of your tomatoes. With your plan in place, you're ready to prepare your garden. Your masterpiece awaits. Now it's time to get your hands dirty and bring your vision to life. Now let's roll up our sleeves and prepare the garden. A well-prepared garden is the foundation of a bountiful harvest. So let's start with the soil. It's not just dirt, it's the life source of your plants. You want to create a welcoming environment for your plants to grow. One way to do this is by tilling your garden. This process breaks up the soil, making it easier for roots to spread, and it also helps improve drainage. But tilling alone isn't enough. You need to feed your soil. This is where compost comes into play. Compost is a rich, organic matter made up of decomposed kitchen and yard waste. It's like a multivitamin for your soil, packed with essential nutrients that plants need to thrive. Sprinkle a generous layer of compost over your soil and work it in with a garden fork. This will ensure that the nutrients are well distributed. Now let's talk about watering. This is crucial because water is life, especially for your plants. But how you water your garden can make a big difference. Overhead watering can lead to water loss through evaporation and can also encourage the growth of mold and fungi. A better option is to set up a drip irrigation system. This is a method of watering that delivers water directly to the base of the plant, reducing water waste and keeping the foliage dry. Lastly, consider adding some mulch. Mulch is a layer of organic or inorganic material that you spread around your plants. It helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and even regulate soil temperature. Remember, the time and effort you put into preparing your garden will pay off when you see those first sprouts pushing through the soil. It's a labor of love, but the rewards are worth it. From the satisfaction of growing your own food to the improved health benefits of eating fresh, homegrown produce, gardening is a journey worth embarking on. With the garden prepared, it's time to sow your seeds. Planting seeds is just the beginning of your gardening journey. After you've carefully selected your plot, planned your garden, and prepared the soil, It's time to plant and nurture your crops to fruition. Let's start with planting. After determining the optimal depth for your particular seeds, make small holes in the soil and drop in a seed or two. Cover them gently with soil, being careful not to pack it down too hard. Remember, these tiny seeds will need to push through the soil to reach the sunlight, so make it a fair fight. Watering is next. The key is to keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. Too much water can drown the seeds and cause them to rot, while too little can stunt their growth. A rule of thumb is to water deeply but less frequently. This encourages the roots to grow deeper, making your plants more resilient. Then we move on to fertilization. Just like us, plants need food to grow. A balanced plant food that contains all the necessary nutrients is a good starting point. Follow the package instructions for application rates and frequencies. Remember, more is not always better. Over-fertilization can be just as harmful as under-fertilization. Finally, let's tackle pest control. Pests can be a real nuisance in the garden, munching away at your precious crops. But don't be too hasty in reaching for the pesticide. Many pests can be controlled with simpler methods. A strong spray of water can knock off many types of insects. Introducing beneficial insects, like ladybugs and praying mantises, can help keep the pest population in check. If all else fails, there are also organic pesticides that are less harmful to the environment. With consistent care, you'll soon see your garden come to life. Remember, gardening is not a one-size-fits-all activity. It takes time, patience, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. But the rewards are worth it. Fresh, homegrown produce is not only a solution to rising food costs, but it's also a testament to your hard work and dedication. So let's get planting. The most rewarding part of gardening is, of course, the harvest. This is the moment when your dedication, patience, and hard work pay off. But how do you know when the time is right to pluck those veggies from their plant homes? Firstly, it's crucial to understand that not all vegetables are harvested the same way. Some, like beans, cucumbers, and zucchini, can be picked as soon as they reach a size that's edible. Others, such as tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, should be allowed to fully ripen on the plant for maximum flavor. Now let's talk about some common crops and their telltale signs of readiness. When your tomatoes are fully colored from top to bottom and slightly soft to the touch, they're ripe and ready. Carrots can be a bit trickier, as their growth is largely underground. However, a good rule of thumb is to harvest when the diameter of the carrot at the soil surface is about ½ an inch. Moving on to leafy greens like lettuce and spinach, these can be harvested as soon as they have enough leaves to make a salad. Simply cut off the leaves at the base and they will continue to grow back for multiple harvests. Now onto the harvest. When it comes to harvesting, a gentle touch is key. Pulling vegetables directly can damage the plant and hinder further growth. A pair of gardening scissors or a sharp knife can be your best friend here. Cut the vegetables off the plant, leaving a small amount of stem. Remember, harvesting your crops isn't just about reaping what you've sown, it's also an opportunity to inspect your plants for signs of pests or disease. So stay vigilant and keep your garden healthy. And there you have it, fresh produce right from your backyard. You've not only saved money by growing your own food, but you've also engaged in a fulfilling activity that promotes better health. Happy harvesting! So, as we've seen, starting a home garden is a viable solution to combat food inflation. We've walked through the steps from start to finish, beginning with the importance of choosing the right location for your garden. Remember, you need a spot with ample sunlight and good drainage for optimal plant growth. Next, we delved into the planning phase where we underlined the importance of selecting crops that are in season and suitable for your climate. Preparation was our next focus, where we talked about the necessity of good soil, proper spacing, and effective fertilization for a successful yield. Then we dove into the nuts and bolts of planting and caring for your crops, discussing watering needs and the right amount of light. And finally, we touched on the joy of harvesting your own crops, a testament to your hard work and dedication. Not only does gardening save you money, but it also provides healthier, fresher produce for your family. So why not give it a try? So why not give